feeling this, I owe pastor and I owe all the people that sort of helped me to get from where I was to where I am now. And I owe them that tough love, you know, and I owe it to them to believe in themselves and to see that, like, I owe it to myself to recreate that moment between me and him with as many people as I can, as often as I can, because he said to me, listen to me, there's absolutely nothing you can do for me but pay it forward. And at that time, I don't know what pay it forward was. I didn't see the movie at the time, you know, but afterwards I began to understand what he meant. And so I literally wake up every day believing that I owe the people who didn't owe me anything. Now, again, I don't know this to be a fact, but I do believe that there are people who believe that I have value because of where I am. You're talking about people who, at my lowest point, that believed in me in the way somebody today would believe in me based on what I do when I hadn't done anything. And so I'm like, wow, that's rare. People don't necessarily do that. And I just felt I'm obligated to do that to as many people as I possibly can. And that's what I wake up. Like, I wake up every day with this, all right, I'm gonna win the Nobel Prize. And it's not about the Nobel Prize, it's not about Norway. It is about if LeBron and Michael Jordan are playing for the finals and Gretzky is playing for the Stanley Cup and somebody else is playing for the pennant, like my pennant is the Nobel Prize, because you don't get that without helping millions of people get from one place in their lives, you know, to another. And as a speaker, I try to start with, like, where are you? So if you're in poverty, it's like, okay, I gotta show you wealth. Like, in your own world, I've gotta show you that this ideology that you're holding on to is probably not yours. You know, I tell people all the time, when I grew up, you know, it was no college. Why didn't I want to go to college? I was in Detroit. In Detroit, you could make $25 an hour working for Ford, GM, or Chrysler. So when you were a kid growing up in Detroit, like, the goal, the apex is, I got a job at Ford Motor Company. I've got salary, I've got insurance, I've got health benefits, 401k, like, I've got a career. And so for you growing up in Detroit, you see Ford, the bigger buildings are GM, you see Chrysler, Iacocca, like, you see him on magazines and books, and he's on the New York Times bestsellers list, and it's like, whoa, GM, Chrysler. And so what I do is I figure out where you are, and I dare you to come out of where you are to, if nobody ever influenced you, where would you want to be? Like, what do you want? What do you want to do? Not what they want you to do. If you could dream, like, what would your best life look like for you? If you didn't have to impress your mom or your dad, you didn't have to go to college because your parents went to college, like, what would you really do? And then if they can tell me, which most people can, some people are so dark that they don't even know what light would look like. But more often than not, a kid would tell me NBA. I said, no, okay, the NBA is over. Where do you live? Where do you live? Are you married? Do you have children? And if I can figure out where you want to go, at that point, then I can snatch your current reality and help you to build a new reality to help you to get where you go. Now, I tell this to people all the time. I just wanted a career. I never even heard the word billionaire before. I never heard anybody say the word. I didn't even know what that meant. And one day I was in the room with Dan Gilbert and Warren Buffett. And I was like, whoa, God, why am I here? Like, I'm not a billionaire. Like, I'm not, like, where would I be in this? Like, what did they call me for? Why did they invite me into this room? And I started doing my homework. Who else is in the, went back. I thought I was, a detective. I'm trying to figure out, okay, who else is in the room? Why are they in the room? What's their network? And then one day it hit me. You're in the room because you're going to be this one day. So everything you heard, you didn't hear it just to hear it, just to be like, you heard it because you can do real estate. Like venture capital, you can do that. These are all humans in this room. So for me, I was taken into a reality that I didn't know exists. And Jamal says it best. Your level of exposure often determines your level of success. So I was exposed to billionaires. So what I try to get kids to do is say, look, I want to expose you You could go to LA without going to LA. You could put the things on and go to LA. You can go on the computer. You can read a book. Like, you can get to sunset without ever going. And then once you get to sunset here and get to sunset here, you can get to sunset here. So for me, it's I gotta get in here and I gotta get in here. And if you let me into these two spaces, I can get you wherever you're trying to get to. People have to understand, and this was Utah. You know, this was a group of guys 25 to 40 years old. And it was like, guys, you got to understand the third world countries, where it does not matter how early you wake up. It does not matter how long you stay up. It doesn't matter what your skill sets are. It doesn't matter. You don't have opportunity. You have people all over the world who are dying to get here, literally dying to get here. You have an opportunity of a lifetime. And where much is given, much is required. So if you have an opportunity to be wealthy, to build phenomenal relationships, to start a business, like you got LLC, nonprofit, you know what I'm saying, S Corp, like you got opportunities. You got banks that you can get loans from. You can go online and sell stuff from online. Like, you don't even have to have a store anymore. You're a storefront. Like, you can literally become rich from your watch. So it's like, yo, instead of you looking at everything that's not, look at what is. So absolutely, is there some stuff to complain about? 1,000%. There's a whole bunch of stuff I can complain about. It's a lot of stuff that I can be angry about. But man, my grandmother died at 93, and a month later, my other grandmother died at 90. I didn't realize how quick life was. I'm like, yo, my grandmother was 93. I spent 51 years with both of them. They're gone. It's over. I will never be able to talk to my grandmother again. And I'm next. So because life is short, I don't have time to focus on what's not. I've got to focus on what is, then get up and go get it. And for me, it's like, guys, some of you in this room have opportunities that I don't have. Some of you in this room have connections or network I don't have. And I'm killing the game and you're not. So I need you to understand where you are. America's not perfect. I don't know if there's a place on planet Earth that is. So we're not looking for perfect, but we are looking for opportunity, and we have it. So it's like, yo, say it, because I need you to understand what you have, and then I need you to appreciate what you have, and then I need you to go after everything that's got your name on it with no excuses. Because man, when I pulled up and I saw, the skyline, I was like, yo, do you know there were people 400 years ago, 300 years ago, who were in the process of building this, and it was a vision, and they never got to experience it? Like, yo, do you know what type of mindset you have to build something that you know that you're not going to get to enjoy, but yet you put energy into it because you're thinking about the next generation? You've got this vision that's going to outlast you. Like, that's rare. And so now it's been built. Go fly first class. It's been built. Go live on, people ask me, why do you live on the East Coast and then you live on the West Coast? Because it's two coasts. That's why. And if I can get a house in the Gold Coast, I'm going there. So it's like, yo, we have opportunity. Whatever you do, don't waste it. Don't cry about it. Get up and go make it happen.